Thank you very much for being our guest on today's conference. I would have two questions. First, what is your observation how Brexit could influence the stock exchange?
First of all, thank you for having us here at this fantastic event. It's really well organized. It's a big event, very reputable event. For us, it's an honor to be here. In terms of coming to your question, there's probably not been a day since the referendum that I haven't spoken about Brexit. I think the good news is that Brexit hasn't really impacted the exchange. If anything, it has actually created opportunities, and this is the reason why I'm here today as well, because it's somewhat counterintuitively, it actually created an opportunity for foreign companies to tap the big sort of global capital pools that sit in London. And the reason is that investors have increased. London has always been very, very international, but through Brexit it has almost accelerated and boosted investors' interest in terms of what's happening outside of the UK. And that is the reason why we had a lot of deal flow. When you look in terms of where deals are coming from, we had a lot of deal flow from abroad. So for instance, in 2017, which was the year right after the referendum, 9 out of the top 10 IPOs in London were all foreign companies. So 1 was UK and 9 were foreign. Last year was half-half. This year, it's again roughly half-half. The biggest IPO this year was a Chinese company. We had a big African telecommunications company. So we had a good host of companies. Last year we had Avast, a cybersecurity company from the Czech Republic, with the biggest Slovenian bank called Nova Ljubljanska banka, which also IPO'd very successfully, raising a lot of money for the state of Slovenia as well. So there's a lot happening in this region, and investors are paying attention to what happens here. And Poland is the biggest market in the region, that's why it makes sense.
It's true that in Poland is also happening a lot. And how would you comment, being an international expert, quite surprising for us situation. So as Germany, that is right now marked already the third quarter of the drop in the economy. At the same time, the stock exchange didn't react negatively, but rather positively. So still the shares are going up. Why?
First of all, I think there is a fundamental sort of difference between sort of what happens in Western Europe and Eastern Europe. So even Eastern Europe has caught up a lot, but the growth opportunities still exist in Central and Eastern Europe. And I think this is why investors are deploying a lot of capital in this region. This year alone, for instance, on the London Stock Exchange, over $2 billion have been raised for companies investing in the region and active in the region. So this justifies the growth opportunity that exists in this part of the world, justifies why, for instance, stock markets would move up rather than down. I mean, if you're active in Western Europe nowadays, the growth rates are flat pretty much, and everyone is struggling to keep growth rates alive. Banks, in some countries you need to pay negative interest rates nowadays, etc. So investors, this is not an environment for investor, for someone who is responsible for generating returns. They need to go where activity is growing, and this is why they would come here and look at this region, which is great for Polish companies and creates opportunities to meet with investors. Yeah.
In one sentence, how would you summarize what do you think about Polish economy?
In one sentence, Polish economy is much more interesting than sort of summarizing in one sentence. But essentially, Poland has great opportunity. So there are a lot of Polish companies that are continuing to grow, that are becoming national champions, that are becoming regional champions, and potentially at some point European champions. And we, as the London Stock Exchange, want to help match those companies with the right amount, with the right investors. This is what essentially the role of an exchange is: matching companies with investors who understand what the company is about. And hopefully we can play a role in helping those Polish companies connect.
Would you recommend Poland to go into, as to our market?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm biased because I've been active in this part of the world for a long time, and I know Poland and I love Poland. So absolutely, I think there are a lot of opportunities, and we've seen over the last few years, not just in public markets, but also in private markets, a lot of deal activity and investment activity, and I think it's justified. Yeah.
Thank you very much then for being also our ambassador, and thank you for being with us. Thanks.
It's a pleasure.